Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Big Weekly Blend podcast, which is connected to our Big Weekly Blend magazine. We're here in Asheville, North Carolina. It's beautiful.
Look at it. It's so pretty out. We're in the forest.
We are. We're overlooking the Smoky Mountains, literally. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely gorgeous, and we've got two little puppies that we're taking care of out here. We've got Sir Ebbett, the editor.
Yes.
He is the editor, right? He is.
Well, he's the boss.
And Miss Starling, who is the I'm looking
Darling
good,
Starling.
I'm pretty. She is a darling. She is. But hey, everyone, we've got Dr. Jackie Ebany, who is on the show today. Dr. Jackie is the author of Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story. She's been on our show for years, and she talks about some of the heart-related month holidays, I should say, National Month of holidays here in September. And I gave her the list of the food holidays this week, Nancy, for her to give a thumbs up, thumbs down, or if you want to eat it, and then you need to go jogging or something. Yeah, because there's a lot of chocolate. She said some parts of chocolate are good, but we'll talk about that.
Dark chocolate is good.
Mm-hmm. We won't tell her that I just ate some M&Ms. So did you. Did you. You ate M&Ms.
I didn't.
That's what you do on a Sunday. You have M&Ms because you can. Anyway, this week we have a lot of holidays. Please go in the show notes and check out the music playlist. It links to Spotify, and there's one for YouTube, whichever you prefer. And these are songs that go with the national holidays. They go of this week, and songs that go with the birth anniversaries, like Barry White was born,
cool.
Amy Winehouse, Fiona Apple. We got the two guitars from Leonard Skinner.
Wow.
Yeah, we got all kinds of good stuff in this playlist. And then we have a reading list, because it's like Roald Dahl's birthday, Jungle Book. Mm-hmm. And we've got all kinds of other. D.H. Lawrence, it's his birth anniversary. So
awesome.
We have a reading list, a music list, and then we do have a list on our site on blendradioandtv.com listing the holidays for each day this week, as well as the birth anniversaries. So, Nancy, apparently you can leave your hat on, because September 16th is, we got to make your own hat day. Have you ever made a hat? I've always wanted to.
Yeah.
Make a hat.
For Halloween.
Oh, it's not. I've got the wrong day. Check that out. I moved ahead. Sorry. It's September 15th is Make Your Hat Day. Make a hat day. I think it's cool. I've always wanted to make a top hat.
Well, making hats is fun.
Remember in Cape Town at Green Market Square, in Cape Town, South Africa, when we were there was this lady who had these top hats.
Yeah.
And I bought a top hat.
Royal blue,
and it had a keyhole on the the front of it, like a keyhole going to your brain.
It was Alice in Wonderland.
It was, yeah. And it had greenery attached to it, and crystals and all kinds of crazy.
It was a cute hat.
And I thought, I want to do haberdashery.
Haberdashery.
You say it. You said it. Haberdashery.
Haberdashery.
Who wants some haberdashery? I want some
haberdashery.
But anyway, make a hat day. I mean, why not wear a hat here and there? I wear a hat whenever I need to hide my bad hair days, which are...
Hats are good.
All the time. So, yeah, hats are good. So it's all about hats. You can leave your hat on, so you know we're going to have hat music and heart music. There's a lot of music for heart, even the band art, So there's that. It's Greenpeace Day as well on September 15th.
Cool.
So we like that. There are a lot of holidays celebrating cleaning up our land and nature, which I think is good this week.
We need to do that.
It is cool.
It's important for everybody and everything that lives.
Mm-hmm. Clean up nature, clean up our backyard, clean up. But it's also National Coloring Day, and I had to bring that up for Nancy. Nancy's made so many coloring books over the years, and but coloring is great. Do you say we have to stick within the lines or go over the lines?
I say cross the lines, but do it with thought. Not as a mistake or out of control. Do it with thought, with a purpose behind it.
Well, National Coloring Day is September 14th, and it's the same day as National Live Creative Day.
Yeah, see? You got to be creative.
Yeah, I like
Otherwise,
that.
you're going to have a really tough life.
I think creativity is everything to me. It is the root of making change and embracing change in creative ways, or
doing your
taxes. We always go to that, don't we? But also September 13th is National Positive Thinking Day.
And that is good. That's key to being happy in life.
Yeah, I like that day. It's also Uncle Sam Day. How about that?
I didn't
Samuel
realize
Wilson
he
was
was a
born on
real
that day.
person.
He is.
I just thought he was kind of this cartoony old man that for some reason somebody thought him up. And here he comes out as a real man. There it is.
And it is Batman Day, September 16th.
Now, it's a real man.
And it's National Dance Day. So that's interesting, because we've had all these dances, like the worm, the robot dance, square dancing. There's all kinds of dances. And disco. What about disco? Ballet.
Well, just
modern dance.
Put the music on and dance around.
Shake it. I find it weird that we have to categorize dance, but then I suppose we do it with music and books and everything.
Well, that's so the other person you talk to can relate to what you're saying.
Okay.
So we have to have a dictionary. We have to have words that people understand, so that we can communicate.
You could leave your hat on and dance at the same time.
Well, yeah, you can dance around your hat.
Dance around.
Dance around.
So everyone, we're going to move on to Dr. Jackie's interview. We hope you enjoy the list of holidays and birth anniversaries and everything on our site, with links to recipes for all the food that Dr. Jackie says we shouldn't eat. But now we're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
No, she wants us to be heart healthy and happy, live our best lives.
You could eat in tiny
She's like, you can
portions.
have the M&Ms, but don't have 2 handfuls.
No.
But you can have a few, but not all, and then work it off and don't do it again all week. But if you have 2-3 handfuls of M&Ms a day,
then
now
get up and dance.
We're get up and dance. That's good cardio. Boogie. You got to boogie. You got to shake it. Shake the tail feathers. So anyway, take a listen to Dr. Jackie. Thank you for listening and joining us. Keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. And we're going to go dance. What are you going to dance? What do you have a dance, Nancy? The worm? Do you do the worm?
Not doing the worm.
The bird?
That's
There's the chicken dance.
Oh, yeah.
You going to do the chicken dance?
No.
It is National Chicken Month.
Do the Watusi.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Well, as part of our big weekly blend podcast, we have Dr. Jacqueline Ebany back on the show. Dr. Jackie is a board certified cardiologist. She's an electrophysiologist, and she is the author of the best-selling book, Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story, which means that's got to be on the reading list for this week. You could actually go find out everything. Go to womenandheartdiseasebook.com. All of the links are in the show notes as always. But welcome back, Dr. Jackie. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you know what? As soon as I saw this month, there's 2 heart-related, they have these, it's National Chocolate Month and things like that. And then there's 2 things that are related to heart health. And I was like, we got to call Dr. Jackie. One is, and I know we've talked about this before, and everyone will link this in the show notes too. Atrial Fibrillation Awareness Month. Did I pronounce that okay?
Yes, you did. Atrial fibrillation. That's correct.
Yeah. So it's National Atrial Fibrillation Month, Awareness Month, and it's National Cholesterol Education Month. Ooh, so we're going to talk cholesterol. We're going to talk about atrial fibrillation. I'm going to say this over and over. And then at the end of this, we're going to go through this week's food holidays, and Dr. Jackie gives it a yay or a nay, if it's good for our heart or not. So, because we always try to get her to say we can have more than 5 ounces of wine, and there is a wine day, in here. So we'll see what she says. But anyway, so let's go to atrial fibrillation. What is that? Isn't that to do with our duduf?
Yes, your heart rhythm. So atrial fibrillation is the most common arrhythmia actually in the United States. And you feel symptoms of rapid heart rate. So what's happening if you have atrial fibrillation is that the top chamber of your heart is not squeezing completely and emptying completely. So it's fibrillating. So it's kind of like a bag of worms just fibrillating. And as a result of fibrillating, it causes your heart to beat really fast and give you symptoms associated with fast heartbeat, like shortness of breath, lightheadedness, feeling like you're going to pass out. So those kinds of things.
That's not fun. I mean, could you think that you're actually having a heart attack when those kind of symptoms come up? Like that could be
Yes.
kind of that same
Yes.
thing. And you should treat it as such, right? If that happens.
Absolutely. It's definitely an uncomfortable feeling. And it can be associated with chest pain depending on how fast your heartbeat's going. And of course, if you're feeling these symptoms, if it's the first time it's happening to you, you definitely should seek medical attention ASAP.
When do you call 911? Like seriously, especially with women. I want to go back to this because some of the symptoms you're saying could be like women's, having a heart attack, which I know we want to talk about that because women, you always say, do not present. And I love that word, present, as men do when they're having a heart attack. And it's something it's so hard to know when you start talking about feeling lightheaded, dizzy, a little beating of a chest. That could just mean that somebody really pissed me off. Like, so like when is it, when do we call for those red light, flashing lights and sirens to come get you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you're having atrial fibrillation and you're, having palpitation, shortness of breath, you're extremely uncomfortable and you definitely would not feel or be up to driving. So if you're having any symptoms that's making you lightheaded, if you're feeling like you're going to pass out, if you're having chest pains, I think you should call 911 because it's definitely not safe for you to be driving on your own. And it's better to have 911 in case in case something happens, you have medical attention around you when it happens.
Now, you said the chest pains, but that doesn't normally happen for a woman having a heart attack, right? That's where the difference is.
Right. You may not necessarily have chest pains as a woman having a heart attack. You may feel lightheaded, short of breath, nausea, numbness down your arms, and things like that. But generally, people just don't feel well. And if you really don't feel well, you probably should not be driving and you should be calling the ambulance to take you to the hospital.
Well, Nancy got in when we first moved back to the States. I mean, I don't think we were here 3 weeks and she ended up in a car wreck and in hospital. And she, a guy ran a stoplight because he changed his blood pressure medicine. And they didn't wean him off or something happened, but he just changed pills and he like slumped over as he was driving and hit Nancy. Okay. And she was, sitting down and broke her sternum and ribs.
Oh, wow.
And of course there's nothing that can happen. And next thing you know, my mom's in the hospital and we're like, I just got here. What the heck? Some lady called me and said, your mom's in hospital. And I hung up on her and said, what are you talking about? She's not like that. She doesn't go to hospital. I was just in shock. I was in shock. I was so young, and it turned out she was in the hospital and the guy, and she had an out of body experience. Like she floated to the top of the ambulance and looked down. Okay. And the only reason she came back is because the guy said, what happened to that thing or that woman that I hit? That thing. And she got mad and she came back down to yell at him. Know Nancy, right?
Wow.
I know. Yeah. But there's something about that. I mean, actually understanding medication and understanding, like, if you're not feeling well, getting in the car it's not just hurting yourself. I mean, how many times have we heard about somebody driving through a flea market or a farmer's market or, don't do it because there's so many things to think about on the road. I drive full time across this country and I'm just going to say, I see too many people asleep at the wheel and doing like, no, you can't have 2 glasses of wine and drive. Don't do it. It's no.
No, I completely agree with you. If you've ever passed out, you definitely shouldn't be driving. You should definitely see a doctor and be cleared by the doctor before you get back behind a wheel. Passing out could be a sign of a serious heart condition. So you definitely need to get it checked out. This guy, that may have been his first episode of passing out, which we call syncope. And in that sense, it's hard to tell when it's going to happen. He just happened to be in the car, and it just happened to happen that day. But after that episode, he definitely should stop driving, and he should see his doctor, especially a cardiologist, to get a workup and evaluated to make sure he doesn't have a serious cardiac issue going on.
Yeah, this was about 30 years ago, and I think cardiology also has changed up in understanding of medications, right? Even heart, blood pressure pills. I know, it's like that's something you don't take lightly. Like you can't just stop or start, right, without getting it right and having communication with medical people that know what you're doing. That's something important. So if you're having this atrial fibrillation, is that something like, okay, you have heart disease, from what we've talked about before, is like you could actually have a stroke, right? Is that part of that journey towards having a stroke?
Yes. The one big thing about atrial fibrillation is that it can predispose you to having a stroke. And like I mentioned earlier, with atrial fibrillation, the top chamber of your heart is not squeezing and emptying out completely. Instead, it's like fibrillating, kind of like a bag of worms. And so that's right. I liken it to a bag of worms, but it's
nobody wants a bag of worms, Dr. Jackie.
No bag of worms in the heart. So with that incomplete contraction, you have static blood within the atrium, and static blood can form clots. And when that chamber eventually pumps, it pumps that blood clot straight to your brain, and that's how you can have a stroke from atrial fibrillation. So that's the biggest danger about having atrial fibrillation, your risk for stroke. So if you do have atrial fibrillation, you should be on a blood thinner, and that helps prevent a stroke in patients with atrial fibrillation.
So it keeps the clotting down. Is it true about like the aspirin? I know people who take an aspirin a day for their heart.
Yes, not for atrial fibrillation. And not for atrial fibrillation, you need a stronger blood thinner. So you need to sit and talk to your doctor about which blood thinner would be right for you. The different ones we have in the market include, I'm not sure if you've heard of any of these, but Coumadin, Xarelto, there's Eliquis, and there's Pradaxa. Those are the blood thinners available in the market for this particular condition. So speak to your doctor.
Well, thank you to TV and Facebook. I have heard of them.
That's right.
Every time I post a show, every time I know, as soon as I post a show for Dr. Jackie, I get the commercials. But it's like, I think it's important to know. And there's also what you're just saying, like, I wonder how many people think, oh, well, at home, I'm going to just self-medicate things. And that's an important thing, to realize that, there's the holistic, which I know from your book, you talk about meditation and, getting your heart back through a healthy lifestyle and making lifestyle changes. But sometimes you have to put the pill first so that you can get to the healthy lifestyle, right?
Yes, absolutely. So AFib, people develop AFib as a result of having multiple risk factors over the years, like alcohol use, obesity, not exercising. So all the same risk factors that we talk about for cardiac disease can also predispose you to atrial fibrillation. So it's important to, make sure you're keeping your risk factors low. And as far as atrial fibrillation is concerned, we talked about the risk of stroke. So that's why it's very important to make the diagnosis of atrial fibrillation. So if you ever feel like your heart's racing, if you're short of breath, you definitely should see a doctor and to get evaluated for possible atrial fibrillation, because it can be deadly if you don't get diagnosed and you don't take a blood thinner. You can have a stroke.
Whoa. Okay. So you know what? I was thinking of you because just a week ago we're in Asheville, North Carolina right now. Beautiful mountain views, the Smoky Mountains. It's awesome. And before this, I was walking a little dog, a little spaniel called Miss Lucy. But Miss Lucy doesn't just go for little walks. She wants to go up and down hills. We were in the Pisgah National Forest in the Smoky Mountains outside of Asheville. I mean, in the forest. And this little dog's like, no, we're going up and down these hills. And I'm like, you're killing me, dog. You're killing. I'm going to have a Fred Sanford moment anytime. But then I thought of you going, no, you need to do the cardio. You need to do this. The walking is the good thing. And I tell you what, man, by the time I left there, within 2 weeks, my body changed. And now I've been sedentary and not like walking like that. But that, she whipped me into shape fast. Like you could feel your breath because it's thin air too, because it's humid. It's like we're in a rainforest.
Mm.
We went mushroom hunting all the time. I didn't touch the mushrooms or do anything weird with them or eat them. I was just trying to photograph while she was pulling me across. Like, we're going up this hill now, and, dodge the groundhogs and the deer and the bears and, seriously. And we did have to run because we thought we came upon a bear who was throwing things. So it was fun. And I thought, God, she was like, you're doing this hill and you're going to do this hill on top of it and this. She pulled me and I could feel like I hadn't done this for a while, but she would wait if I needed to stop. I heard you in my head going, you can stop, you can go back at it, I have to tell you though, I could feel my body change, and you start to really, as soon as your body starts to go towards that healthy lifestyle, you start to change. You start to not want to have maybe that second or third glass of wine.
Yes.
It's really weird how your body knows when you're taking care of it.
Yes. You take
really?
if you take it one step at a time and you implement these changes, you start becoming used to it, and it becomes a lifestyle change as opposed to a crash diet, which you always relapse afterwards.
See, now I need to go hike again because I'm ready to go. My energy level went up and my sleeping was fit, like a good sleep, And I think, is sleep that big for your heart? Because I kind of felt better, just as a human out of that.
Yes, absolutely. Getting adequate amounts of sleep a night is healthy for you, and it's good for your heart in many ways. In many ways. As you know, when you're tired and groggy, you definitely don't have the energy to exercise. You are less likely to be compliant with, lifestyle changes like eating healthy. You want to grab the things that, grab quick things that are in front of you. You want sugar just so that you can stay awake. So sleeping definitely has good long-term effects for you and your heart.
Now, is it okay, the fact that the last couple of mornings I had salad for breakfast? How about that?
Yeah,
it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's vegetables and it's
avocado,
yes,
feta cheese.
Absolutely, yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
there was probably too many olives. That you would say I had too many olives and a little bit too much feta cheese, but I figured it was breakfast. I'd work it off.
But there was some lettuce in there, correct? And tomatoes and carrots.
Lots of lettuce and spinach and all kinds of lettuces and stuff. No.
So overall, a healthy choice.
I am weird about that. I will eat. I just did an interview with someone, Mike Yam. He's a sportscaster for the NFL Network, which I have no clue about football. But he was on a show talking about his children's book, which is Fried Rice and Marinara. It's about being a multi-ethnic background, which is he's Chinese and Italian. There's no books for kids, pretty much zero books out for kids addressing being, having a diverse background and cultural background. And so we were talking and we were just talking about food. I said, look, I'm weird because I just had salad for breakfast today. He's like, really? That's cool. It's just, I don't know. It just becomes a thing for me. Sometimes I'll just wake up and start eating like a rabbit or something. It's weird. But I feel like if my body wants it, then it wants it. Right. So do you think we should do that too, is listen to our bodies about what it wants to eat? And not necessarily well, what if you have sugar cravings? Does that tell you that maybe you're needing to take a look at that?
Well, just do not overly indulge in the sugar, but if you eat a lot of sugar, you tend to have sugar cravings because that's just, your body just wants more, so it doesn't portend that you're diabetic or anything like that. But definitely, if you should just go see your doctor on a regular basis, if you are diabetic, it'll be picked up.
You know that it's also National Screening Month. I didn't put that in the notes for you, but do you do screenings for heart? Is that a heart health thing or no? Like, is that more for cancer? I should look that up. I don't know. I just know that
Yeah,
somebody wants to screen.
it's probably for excuse me, if it's for National Screening Month, then it's probably for everything. The usual things: the heart, your colon cancer. Yeah,
Oh,
the usual screen for diabetes, cholesterol. Yeah, I like that
oh,
actually. I like that. I like that idea.
oh,
National Screening Month.
okay. Okay, so like you say, screen for heart disease. So do patients come to see you, say, hello, come screen my heart, like take a look at it.
Now
What's going on?
you go see your primary care
Oh,
doctor first. That's the first line, and they do the basic things. They order labs. Excuse me. They order labs where they can check for diabetes, high cholesterol, and any other medical problems. They check your blood pressure. Um, they get a history from you, and while speaking to you about your history, they get history about your family, and with all that information that the primary care has, then they determine whether or not you need a further workup uh, by referring
hmm.
you to cardiology. So they start with the
Okay.
screening, and if they see any red flags, then they refer you to cardiology.
What is this thing too? I remember one of our health insurance agents a few years ago said, I mean, actually, this is over 10 years ago. Go in and they have this like body x-ray that tells you everything. What do you think about that? Like, it's weird. I feel like I'm going to be like, yeah, I take my car in and they plug it into a thing. But like, it doesn't tell you your tires, like your tires still have to be looked
Right.
at by an eye. So like, what do you think about that part? Like
Yeah,
just
it
getting
can.
the skin.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but it can be good and it can be bad in some sense because a lot of times you might find things that have no clinical significance, but then because it's found on the screening, then multiple tests have to happen in order to make sure it's not bad, and you end up going through the ringer and getting all these
Oh,
tests, all these appointments, and it turns out to be nothing. So in that sense, it's bad. And in a handful of cases, it can detect some abnormalities. But if you do regular screening, the regular screenings that we have, like for colon cancer, you're checking for diabetes and those kinds of things, you should be able to uh, catch a lot of the abnormal medical conditions that will later affect you. But it ends up, I think it's not cost effective to just go screening everything because
mm-hmm.
you end up having to do more and more tests and more doctor's appointments, and then at the end of the day, it ends up being absolutely nothing.
Well, and I think you bring a good point up about cost effectiveness because healthcare is not fixed yet. It's just not,
No,
we still have a long way to go and it sucks. I'm just going to say it sucks. And I know it sucks for doctors too. And that's something people don't understand. We'll have to do a whole other show on that. About the medical system is not that easy for anybody.
no,
And we
no.
do need reform on it. And, I think it's just so complex and hopefully
Yes,
people can just get out of the meeting part of it and make things happen. But okay, National Cholesterol Education Month. And I think this is very important. We've talked about food and salad. Like I know I'm allowed to have avocado, but you're going to say I can't eat too much, right? Like,
that's
but it's,
right. It's good fat, but you can't eat too much of it. Too much of anything is not good for you.
oh, okay. Just wait till
Oh,
we
and
get to the food part. Boy.
Oh, and I wanted to make another comment about you eating salad for breakfast. The one country that I saw that I've been to where they actually do that is Israel. I remember being in Israel and they served salad for breakfast. It was always on the buffet, the breakfast buffet tray, or it was on the menu options. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, you know what? And actually, I was eating with flatbread too. So I don't, because don't forget, I grew up in a Middle Eastern kind of not Middle Eastern, but mixed culture,
Uh-huh.
I mean, Kenya, like as a kid, had a little bit of everything. You were eating flatbread, chapatis. I was eating Indian food and I was eating all kinds of, I
Nice.
had friends from the Middle East. I had like, it just, yeah, I mean, if people wouldn't you would, I mean, you come from
Yeah.
Nigeria too,
Yeah.
and over in Kenya, I would eat in the huts, as a kid, and food was passed around. You washed your hands in a bowl. You didn't have utensils, and you would grab at certain things. But it was really, it was actually more vegetable heavy than anything. There were grains, yes, and chapatis and things, and I'll do anything for a really good chapati. Oh my God, I would do anything for that. And a samosa, I swear to God. Like, and I do know how to make them, and it just is when I do it, like an entire kitchen goes down. Um,
Oh.
and like in flour, oil, and like everything is a huge mess. And when oil and flour stick, no, nobody wants
Oh
that in their
yeah.
house. We
Nobody
pets
wants
it,
that.
so they don't want it in their house. But
Yeah.
I really do. There's something about like, a lot of beans and legumes, and I think we were eating healthy. And I started watching that Blue Zone diet thing, the guy going around and doing the Blue Zones. I know you're doing that with your Mediterranean cookbook and a book about Mediterranean cuisine, right, Dr. Jackie? I know
That's
that's in the
correct.
works,
That's
but
correct.
I do see just nudge, nudge. But there's something about that lifestyle where you're working for your food that I don't know, man. It was such an ordeal that when you got to eat, you needed to just sit down and chill out and eat and be with people. And a lot of people wouldn't understand sitting on the floor and eating that way, but I don't know,
Right.
man. I loved it. And the spices,
Yeah.
oh my God. I'd do
Yeah.
anything for all that again. I really would. That was amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you do that as a kid in Nigeria? Was the food
Yeah.
different?
Well, the food was different. West African food is very different from East African food. But yeah, it
Hmm.
was always a communal thing, getting together with friends and family and eating. And that's actually one of the pillars of the Mediterranean diet is, the getting together with friends and family and sharing a meal together and just, talking. So yeah, so that's very important to heart health and community health.
Well, you know what? When Nancy and I eat dinner and stuff with people, we notice that we still have food on our plate. Because we
Yeah.
talk a lot. We talk a lot, right? But
Yeah.
that I'm going, people's food is already down their hatch within 5-10 minutes. I'm not joking, like an entire
Yeah.
meal. And I'm sitting down thinking this is a this, and I go, oh my God, now they're waiting on us. Like now we have to shove this in our face. Like we
Yeah.
have this, and so like, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know how to balance it. And we eat with people all the time as we do our pet sits and travels and stuff. But we've realized that I know we talk a lot,
Hmm.
but the food goes down really quickly for people here.
Yeah, and I think eating slow is better because you're more conscious about eating, and it takes a few minutes from when you're full for your brain to realize that you're full. So if you eat everything, you don't realize that you're full until you're done eating. But if you eat slowly, you get the reception to your brain. The receptors go to your brain, letting you know that you're full, and then you can stop eating, as opposed to eating it
Okay.
all right away and not realizing that you're full and just perpetuating overeating. So eating slow, mindful eating overall is better than just wolfing down your food.
I love that. I love that. Now let's talk about the difference between good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. What about eggs? Let's start with eggs.
So yeah, so the yolks of eggs have pretty high in cholesterol. So you want to be careful about that if you're trying to lower your cholesterol. So we talk about, total cholesterol and, the good versus the bad cholesterol. The bad cholesterol or the LDL cholesterol is considered bad because this is the cholesterol that cakes your arteries. So it just clogs up the arteries, kind of like a drain that's all clogged up. So when your arteries get clogged up with this cholesterol, they form plaques. Blood has a difficult time flowing through these arteries, and this is when you develop things like heart attacks, hypertension, stroke. And the good
Oh man.
cholesterol or the HDL cholesterol is kind of like the Drano. It goes through the arteries to clean up these plaque buildup to kind of allow
Oh,
more.
so it's kind of like a little eater. It eats it.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
that's
we like
that's an
this.
oversimplification of it, but that's basically the idea behind that. So you want your bad cholesterol numbers to be low, and you want your good cholesterol numbers to be high.
Well, I think we've talked about this. I know we've talked about it before, and everyone, again, we have our whole page of all the holidays and birth anniversaries and everything. We're going to link Dr. Jackie's articles on cholesterol and atrial fibrillation. I'm going to say it, but anyway, I had it, but now I don't. But when you're talking about that, we've talked about this before, where it's like it's like if you think about your heart and everything being the kitchen sink, and you're cooking bacon or steak and you put all that meat fat down your drain, that's not going to work.
That's
So
correct.
that's that lard. As soon as you were talking, I just see
Yes.
that lard and I'm like, I don't want that in my body. I don't want
No, you
lard.
don't. Absolutely.
I'll feed that to the birds outside. The woodpeckers like it, but we don't. We don't need to be outside in the cold, So, but a little bit of meat is okay, right? We're allowed to have some meat.
Yeah. So if, for fat, I think protein fat is best, or is best, but you can have some meat, but you want to have more vegetables. It's a better idea to have the vegetable to be the main dish, and the protein, like the meats, be your side dish, so that you're not eating so much of that, because of course overindulging in anything is bad for you.
Yeah, like eggs. Like Nancy's gone completely off eggs. Like like she'll have a couple maybe a month. Like
Yeah.
we used to eat a lot of eggs, and I'm getting weird about them. Like when we were in that same, like if it's farm fresh, it's like a different thing. Like, I don't know. Then I'm like, ooh, but it's kind of weird. I don't know if that's a thing when we age, we start to go off it. I don't know, that it's a
Well,
weird thing.
weird thing. Well, you can eat the yolks. The yolks are, don't have a lot of cholesterol, and they're still healthy for you. You can eat yolks. You just shouldn't eat a lot of it, especially if you're watching your cholesterol, because it's very high in cholesterol. But you don't have to stop it 100%.
But I can eat avocado. That's my thing.
Yes,
My
but not
oh,
too much avocados.
I
But
want my
yeah.
avocado. Okay, Dr. Jackie, are you ready for the big yay or nay game?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about, peanuts. So on September 13th, it's National Peanut Day. September 12th is National Ants on a Log Day. And that's when you have a piece of celery, which I've heard is good for us, especially diabetes and all kinds of things. But then they spread peanut butter on it and top it with raisins. And this is especially for kids. It's like a healthy treat instead of a candy bar. So Dr. Jackie, peanuts, peanut butter, raisins on celery. What are you thinking? Yay?
Well, I
Oh,
well, there's a caveat. I love
I knew it.
peanuts, but peanuts can be fattening if you eat a whole lot of it. So maybe a small portion of peanuts are good, but you just shouldn't overindulge. So I like the idea. I would say yay to the ants, because you have celery, which is good. You have a little bit of peanut butter, and you have raisins. That sounds good. I would
For
say
kids,
no
that's fun.
for kids. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, it's
But
better than a
for
candy bar,
national,
right?
yes, I would agree with that.
Okay.
National Peanut Day makes me think you're just going to be indulging in nuts all day, which I would say that's bad.
Okay, so now peanuts versus something like almonds, aren't they you have to watch both of them, don't you? The peanut's a legume, right? So like
Yes,
beans.
yes, but it has a lot of fat. It has a lot of fat in it. So you just have to watch. So not to say that you can't eat any peanuts whatsoever, but you should just in moderation.
Uh-oh. Okay. Now, there's a lot of chocolate going on. September 12th is National Chocolate Milkshake Day. We've got September 13th being International Chocolate Day. And then wait, I know there was another one. Where is it? September 16th is National Choose Your Chocolate Day. Like, come on, who makes up these holidays, right? So let's go to the chocolate. What are the pros? Like, I think, as I recall, you said we're allowed to have 5 ounces of wine and a little square of dark chocolate. Am I right?
Dark chocolate is better for you than milk chocolate. So if you're going to say National Chocolate Day, I would say yay for dark chocolate, but again, in moderation.
What about a chocolate milkshake?
No for that.
Okay, but what if you are traveling, which I know you are a world traveler. How many countries now? I know you've done.
I don't know, but it's a lot. It
It's a
is a
lot.
lot.
It's up
Yeah.
there. It's way up
Yeah.
there. I think you've traveled to like more than some of the travel writers we interview, like
Yeah.
really up there. But if you're somewhere and they're famous for their their chocolate milkshake, you got to
So where are
do
you
it. Like,
where are you talking about?
I
Which
don't know.
places?
I just like if you really want one, if you really want one, you at times you just don't do it every day. Like if you do it, because I
Yes,
remember in the holidays you said, okay, you're allowed to indulge, but then don't overindulge, and then you don't do
absolutely.
it again for like. So if you really want that chocolate milkshake, like don't do don't do the fast food crap, right? Because it's not even.
Yes.
I think the last time it actually put me off milkshakes. I don't think it's real. Like I've seen ice cream that doesn't melt come out of ice cream places, franchise. So I think there's something weird going on. And I've had French fries in my car as a science experiment that have lasted years.
Yes.
So
Isn't
I'm
that
just going to
crazy?
say,
That is
I
crazy.
think I'm going to start documenting this. I've had gummy bears in my car in just insane weather that are still sitting there. Um, don't eat the gummy bears. Let me tell you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you it'll come. No, don't do it. But the chocolate milkshake, if you get to a place that actually makes a real one, I don't know where to go for that.
Well,
Because I
again,
think that's a
go ahead.
thing. Go, no,
Yeah, no,
say,
I agree with you. Life is too short. If you see some milk chocolate in a place where that's the only place in the world that is well known for this delicious milk chocolate, it's okay to try some. Again, in moderation is okay, but you shouldn't overly indulge. You shouldn't do it every single day, 3 times a day, and things like that. But it's
so
it's
I'm
okay
guessing
to.
National Cream Filled Donut Day is like,
I would say the no to that. There's
hell no.
absolutely
It's
nothing
just not
redeeming.
necessary.
No,
It's
not at all. Not
okay.
at all.
There's National Gobstopper Candy Day. Like as kids, we used to take those little gum balls and shove them in our
Yeah,
mouth.
too much
Sometimes
sugar. I
parents
would
would
say
give them
no
to
to that.
kids to tell them to keep quiet and chew.
Yeah, no to that one.
No. Okay. National Rosa Tequila Day. Apparently, this is about the most primo tequila you can get in the world, which would come
Really?
out of Mexico. Yes. And it's got a rose kind of like it's like a rosé of tequila. It's like got a rose color. I have never had it, and I absolutely love tequila. And you know what I love about it is a pure, I don't, yeah, there's margaritas and everything, but I just like to sip on one little thing of tequila. I promise I didn't have two or three. Ha ha ha. No, no, but if you can get single estate tequila, it is like a beautiful,
Really?
yeah, it's a beautiful experience. But, I'm saying sip it and all of that. But Dr.
Yeah,
Jackie will say as women,
I
we're
would
not
agree
allowed
with
to have
you.
that much, right?
Exactly. You can have, well, as a woman, you can have an ounce or a shot a day of hard
Oh,
liquor. That would be considered hard liquor. So yes, you can have a shot and fill it up with whatever. You can either drink it, straight, or you can mix it with, sodas or something like that. Yes, absolutely.
I think you should just sip this because this is a
Okay.
fine
That's
liqueur
what it sounds
or
like.
liquor. It's like drinking, bourbon, a really fine bourbon that's been just, distilled from Kentucky or somewhere, and you get this
Yeah.
bourbon and then you mix it with Coke and you've ruined the taste of the bourbon. Like, I'm not saying don't have your cocktails and all that. I'm all for it. But if
Right.
you're going to only get
Right.
one a day, sip and
Yes,
savor and,
I
and
would agree.
understand what goes behind it. Like making of wine is a huge ordeal for winemakers. We do a lot of interviews with winemakers on our show, and it's a big deal. September 17th is International Grenache Day. And Grenache is like usually used as a blending part of wine, but it is absolutely amazing. And it's versatile. Like we're getting towards that holiday season. It's a good wine for that. I don't know if you've had Grenache. I know that you, Dr. Jackie, have been through South Africa. I know you like your wine, but
I
how
do.
many ounces? 5? Am I right?
5 ounces of wine a day, yes, is what we're allowed as women. And the men can have two 5 ounce glasses a day. of
Well, you see, you know what? I always had penis envy as a kid, and I'm not shy to say this on the show.
Oh my
And now I
goodness.
really
Now
have
you know
that
why.
now.
Now
Now
you
you
know
know
why.
why. This is the real reason. I knew they were having it better than us women. Like that is just rude. That is just rude that they
No.
get 2 glasses and they get more if it's liquor, right? They get
Yes.
more.
Yeah,
How much
absolutely.
more? They
They
get
twice
2 shots?
as much. Yes, they can get 2
No,
shots. Yeah.
dude.
Absolutely. I know.
You see
It's
how I
not
went to
fair.
dude. Okay. But then, but a glass of wine with friends at a dinner table is the best. That is
Is
the
the best.
best, what we were talking about,
Yes.
right? Earlier. Okay. So let's go to cinnamon. We've got 2 cinnamon things. The
Okay.
cinnamon's as I've always learned, was a good spice for us, especially through
Yes.
Ayurveda. Cinnamon's a
Yes.
good little burny thing. And we're getting into the fall
Absolutely.
season. So we have National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day. And don't knock me, but I had a cinnamon raisin bagel this morning instead of a salad. The
Cinnamon is a
salad
good
went
spice,
away.
like you said. Yeah, cinnamon's a good spice. I would say thumbs up for that.
Okay. So cinnamon raisin bread. Now, what about butterscotch cinnamon pie day? That's on September
Good
15th.
heavens. That sounds extremely rich
I know my
and sounds
teeth are
delicious.
bending just thinking of it.
Again, it's just maybe one slice, a small portion, small serving size of that, and not
Okay.
often at all. So
Okay.
I
So
don't know, because
now
when you make something a national day or national month, I always feel like they're encouraging you to overly indulge in that. So that's
it's a
why I'm
big sales thing. I
cautious.
mean, there's National Monte
Yeah,
Cristo Day, that big sandwich. It's deep fried and yeah.
yeah. So
That,
it's like
mm,
when you bring that to everyone's attention, then they're like, oh, okay, well maybe you should go have some. When they normally wouldn't be having it that day. So maybe
I
that's
say
too
you
much
have a Monte
attention.
Cristo if you're in Monte Cristo. Then you get to
Okay,
have one,
okay. Well, I would
right?
agree with that because you don't go
Yeah.
to
I
Monte
mean,
Cristo every day. So
yeah. Now, what about apples?
apple
Because,
is good for you. An apple a
okay,
day keeps the doctor away.
but we want Dr. Jackie near. But International Eat an Apple Day is September 16th.
I
And
like
there's National Apple Dumpling Day on September 17th. And Dr. Jackie's probably like, you don't need to do that. But dumplings are kind of light if you're doing like the Asian dumplings, right? That's kind of light.
Yeah, that is light. Yeah, but it's
But then
fried,
there's
right?
the,
So I guess you could boil it.
oh, yeah, there's boiled and then there's fried. And Dr. Jackie's going to go, no in the deep frying, no
Yes,
apple
no one.
turnovers, no.
No, no, just
Okay.
boil it.
I
Yeah,
love a good apple and it's good for your teeth. It
it
cleans your
sure
teeth.
is. It sure
It,
does.
and teeth health affects your heart health as I
Yes, yes, it
ooh.
does. It does.
Okay, so we're almost at the end here. National Eat a Hoagie Day. I have a funny feeling. No.
Um, you can moderation again, not overly indulging in all these things.
Okay, so we got salami, pepperoni,
Yes,
pastrami, ham,
yeah.
like all of those. Is it the salt or the fat which
It's
one is the
all of
worst?
it. The salt, the fat, all of
Not good
it.
cholesterol. This is the
Cholesterol,
cholesterol
exactly.
sandwich.
Cholesterol, yes, absolutely.
Is
It
bread
has
bad
every
for us? Like the actual bread?
well, too much of it is, I mean, it is carbohydrates. If you have small portions, it's okay, but too much of it can be
Okay.
bad for you. Yeah.
Now, okay, now I'm going to do another one. Same day of September 15th is National Cheese Toast Day. So I'm asking about bread. I have a funny feeling about like overabundance of cheese getting in the way of the heart health.
Yes, yes, and you'd be absolutely right about that. Cheese is good is good, but again, an overabundance is always a problem. Bread is good. We always say you want you know the whole grain more so than the white bread, because the whole grain is healthier than the refined carbs like the white bread. So
But
yes, I would
Dr.
say yes,
Jackie,
good.
there's this grease that comes off of cheese when it's melting that
Yes.
find attractive in some way.
No, I don't find that attractive.
And I thought a glass of wine would help balance that grease. And apparently not. I'm not doing well
No,
here.
no, you're
Okay.
not.
So
After
when
all
I
these
say,
years that we've been together,
yeah, no, this is not what she's about to fire me right now. Now I
yeah.
understand, I get it, but now when I bring up National Double Cheeseburger Day, I'm
Oh my
really
goodness.
fired.
Yes, you are. I can't even believe
That,
you
I mean,
even
I don't even know
mentioned
how to put your mouth over that.
exactly. That is just to
Like,
me. That's
why
just
do
a
we
heart
need,
attack waiting to
yeah,
happen with all that
that
grease. Yeah,
is. It's
yeah,
like, I kind of look at this going, all right, like, is there, it's kind of weird because I kind of wonder about corporate responsibility of what you're doing to make a buck. And at the same time, I understand people want to eat that. So yes, you could do that as a business, but where do we go with that on how much? I mean, there's been things like I know New York City did the thing about how much soda would go out in these giant cups. Like, where is that level? I think we do personally need to take more responsibility
yes. You got
as
to take
individuals.
responsibility. Yes, you got to
Um,
take responsibility for your own health. You
yeah,
do.
but I mean, double, triple cheeseburgers, like I get once in a while having something that's fine, but National Linguine Day, is that okay? It sounds like a nice, if you have a nice, heart healthy pasta and seafood.
Yes, the
Mm,
whole grain pasta. Yeah, that's okay.
okay, we got a thumbs up. And then
Yes,
lastly, okay, two holidays that I think we're going to get a thumbs up for. National Sober Day. It celebrates people in
yes,
sobriety. I think that is huge. And
that
anybody
is
going through that journey,
huge.
my heart is with you. It is not an easy task. And it's not a task, it's a journey. It is a huge journey. And your body is going to thank you and your
Yes,
friends and family. And it's just a huge deal. So something not to take lightly, but it's also that's September 14th. And this is all the same day as National Cream Filled Donut Day, National Eat a Hoagie Day, National Gobstopper Candy Day, National Rosa Tequila
oh my
Day on
goodness.
Sober Day. Like, come on. Did anybody
Come
get
on.
together on
I
this?
know.
No. But the best thing I want to bring up to Dr. Jackie is the same day as National Food is Medicine Day.
It's National
I think
Medicine Day as well.
National Food is
Food
Medicine
is
Day.
medicine day. Oh, I like that. I like that because food is
Yeah.
medicine.
So
The
when
right
you
kind
look
of
at,
food.
yeah, the right kind of foods, the Mediterranean diet, what would you say, like, we should look at, to eat in replace of, like, if you're going to go for a double cheeseburger, what would you say? Like, maybe have this instead, because this will help your body. So you don't have to go see Dr. Jackie every month and do all those screening. Well, you've got to do checkups and stuff. I know she'll yell at me any second, but prevention before it
Yes,
happens.
maybe grilled fish. Maybe
Oh,
grilled fish instead of a hamburger.
mm.
Yeah,
With a side of vegetables
and a side of
or salad.
vegetables. Yeah, or a salad, like you mentioned.
Mm.
And
So
make the
get some,
salad the main portion, and then the grilled fish or even grilled chicken breast as the side or the topping on top of your salad.
are we allowed rotisserie chicken or is that a no-no?
No, no, rotisserie chicken is all fat. It's chicken breast.
Dang it. Nancy and I about bought one.
That's why we all love rotisserie chicken.
I know. And I just think it's the best because you can put it on a salad. And it's like, no, apparently
Yeah,
not.
no, that's
Okay.
it. Yeah. So you want to
Dr.
go for the
Jackie,
healthier choice.
food is
Yes,
medicine, right? If we
food
do it
is
right. Yeah.
absolutely.
So if we look
Yes.
at it, when we put the double cream donut in our face, you're doing the opposite of medicine. When we put the double cheeseburger, because I know people have double cream donuts. I know that happens. I know it exists. The milkshake, all of that stuff. So if you want it, have it once, but don't have it every day. And
That's right.
then you are on salad duty for the rest of the day and
That's
the week.
correct.
Oh.
Right. And increase
Dr.
your physical
Jackie,
activity.
always, always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for giving us some insight and keeping heart health happy and fun. Everyone, Dr. Jackie's book is Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story. You can go to womenandheartdiseasebook.com, Amazon, all those places. It is a best-selling book because Dr. Jackie rocks, and you can keep up with her again, womenandheartdiseasebook.com. But if you are in Orange County, you've got to see a cardiologist. Go see Dr. Jackie. Go to cvwellnessinstitute.com. Thank you so much, Dr. Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Go eat that square of dark chocolate now.
All right. You guys take care.